There we have it. Okay, so. So, right, said Fred. Declining a noun. You're going to do this a lot. We're going to take nouns and you're going to have to write them out in all of their case forms, which we went through on Friday. And quite honestly, this is going to be, Jeremiah, you really haven't this much. You missed something on Friday, but we're going to get ready to go back over today. So you're going to be in fantastic shape for that. Yeah, so take, for example, this word insula, insulae. First thing you would do is drop off that A-E, and then you would add on those first declension endings from Friday. That being the case, oh, good night. We need two people to come to the board. And here's the deal before you raise your hands. It's very, 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 very important. When you come to the board to write stuff on the board, you may use any of the markers that are in the tray. If you use one of the markers from my mug that is on the podium, you will probably not remember anything that happens for the rest of that day. Okay? You will meet with some sort of physical distress. In other words, I will probably hit you. Okay? If you look around the room, if you haven't really noticed it, we've got weapons in here, people. I've got swords, they're real. I've got spears, they're real. You use one of my good, bright, as some students call it, juicy teaching markers because they're real juicy. They got lots of ink in them and it makes them nice and bright. I know you don't just think about markers as juicy. You think about oranges and grapefruits as juicy, but markers can be juicy too. And you use one of my juicy markers, and you will come to harm. Okay, so the markers in the tray are yours. Now you may volunteer. Somebody to do the whole singular column for us, Audrey. Somebody do the whole plural column for us, if you will, Allison. There it is. Take it away, ladies. Speaking of ladies, is anybody watching the Olympics? We were watching all weekend long. Saw some good stuff with ladies gymnastics last night. Did anybody watch the women's road race, the bicycle stuff? First off, that is just grueling. It actually, I feel my chest pounding when I watch bicyclists. Because they're going up a hill, and I know that I couldn't do it. I'm horribly out of shape for that. But the American lady was in the lead. And she had about a 33-second lead with, I don't know, about maybe 3-4 kilometers to go. And there's a pack of 3 women behind her. Now the deal is, in cycling, you kind of don't want to be out in front because you're getting all the wind. You're taking it, so you really are working a lot harder. The 3 that were back of her by 33 seconds, they were all kind of changing places with each other and breaking the wind for each other, so nobody had to work as hard. Well, as they head down the final hill, you watch that difference decrease. 30 seconds, 28 seconds, 25 seconds. It was obvious that the people that were following her could see her. She was in their visual range. 11 seconds, and you're like, oh my Lord, they're going to pass her right at the end. Sure enough, all 3 of them did, and our girl didn't even medal. It was terrible. Russian woman cheated in swimming, a little tough down there. And the commentator says she'd been busted for doping before, and they thought she shouldn't have. Anyhow, here it is. If we're going to write out the word island, every possible way that you could ever see it in a Latin sentence, it's probably going to look like something like this. So they drop off the A-E, and I-U-N-S-U-L becomes the stem. Insul is really the part of the word that means island. Insul is the part that means island. The endings are showing you whether we're talking about one island or more than one island, and how the word island may be functioning in the sentence. So they give us insula, insulae, insulae, insulam, insula on the singular column. Any questions there? Do we have anything at all incorrect? Why, yes, Kendall.
The ablative is
Yep.
yeah, ablative is supposed to be like a long A.
Must have the long mark over the A. So the endings are I, with a long mark. Have to have the long mark, or it's wrong, because we would get confused with nominative if you didn't have it there. The plurals give us insulae, insularum, insulis, insulas, insulis. Are those correct? I'm seeing lots of nods. Question, yeah, Jordan.
Shouldn't there be a long A?
You know what? There's none that I hold you for on the plural side. So far, the only long mark that I hold you for is that ablative singular there, and that's it. And I gotta say, incredibly beautiful board writing as well. Just gorgeous. You know, we got future teachers up in here. Somebody come up and give us the uses, because as beautiful as this is useless, worthless, pointless, if you don't know this. If you don't know what the case uses mean, so give us that if you want, Brother Luke. Yeah, well, yeah. Go ahead and use one of the many markers at your disposal, not one from the podium. How long do you think it's going to be before I make the joke, Luke? I am your father. I guess it just made. We're going to talk about the quiz format a little bit later in the period, because your quiz is when? The 11th. What day is that?
Friday.
I think it's Thursday. Thursday? We're talking about formats to make sure folks are ready for it. You already know part of what's on it, which is vocabulary, but there's a little bit more, and we'll talk about that. It involves some of this stuff. All right, let's see how we did. We say nominative is subject. Is that correct? Showing up powerful stuff. Genitive is possession. Is that correct? Yes, it is, except there is a second S in there toward the end. There's two S's and then two S's. But there you have it. Possession. And Jeremiah, if I were you, I would copy all this down, because this is core stuff from Friday. Dative is indirect object. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Showing up. Accusative, direct object. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ablative, object of preposition. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Showing up powerful stuff. Now, Taylor, do you want a picture of what's on the board right now? Is that good? Okay. All right, so we're going to leave that up there for a minute. Jeremiah, get that copied down. That's core stuff. Let's run down the endings together. Just the endings. You can look at them as you say them. Here we go, the singular column. I, are, me, sus, is. Very, very nice. Somebody pronounce the whole word that means islands when that word is used as a direct object. Pronounce the Latin word that means islands when it's used as a direct object, Courtney. I think you're right there. Insulas. In fact, let's say all the words together. Let's say the whole words together. Insula. Insulae. Insulae. Insulam. Insula. Insulae. Insularum. Insulis. Insulas. Insulis. Somebody give us the word that means island when it's used as the object of a preposition. Island is the object of a preposition. Why do I walk away from Miss Raven? Insula. Very, very nice. Somebody give us the word that means islands when used as the subject of the sentence. Islands. Miss Zoe.
Insulae.
Insulae. Very, very nice. And there you have it. All right, kiddies, flip over to your workbook. Exercises C, D, and E, pages 2 and 3. Get out your workbook. Jeremiah, we're going to have to wait until all the workbooks and books have been put away because we thought we were done enrolled. So we will get that for you at the end of the period. So right now you can share on with somebody. Yes, ma'am? Okay, so look on with somebody else. Yeah, there you go. Look on with somebody else. Start off with exercise C. Page 2. Yes, Raven. Same story. Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Give this to the front office. I can do that. May I ask, how did this happen? No, that's the wrong answer. The right answer is, there was a group of ISIS thugs attacking a little old lady as she was coming out of the CVS. You, with your mad ninja skills, just went flipping through the parking lot, roundhouse kick, took out all the ISIS dudes, and only injured your toe. That's the story. I believe my version is much better. So that's when you stay with. Exercise C, here we go. Holy mackerel, it's in English. I told you we're going to review basic English grammar. Okay? Page 2, exercise C, page 2. So right now, we just want to underline some English nouns. Make sure we understand what are the nouns. So I'm going to give you like 1 minute and 30 seconds. Go. Underline all the nouns. There should be a total of 25 when you're done. And Ashton, you might share on, or Zoe, you might share on with Jeremiah until we can get him his work up there, so at least he can look on with you guys. Jeremiah, you good with that up there? You go, good, take that out. Oh, good grief. I've got other things to do with my morning. Let's go on with this. Surely you're done by now. I give you like 2 minutes and 17 seconds. That's more than I said I was going to give you. How about number 1? Were there any nouns in the first sentence? Give us what you got there, Courtney.
Noun, name, person, place, thing, idea.
Boom, baby, you got 6 of them. The word noun is a noun. And then all those others, person, place, thing, idea. All those are nouns. Number 2, what nouns are in sentence number 2? If you would please. Seriously, Miss Rory.
Latin ending noun, number, and case.
Outstanding. And we talked about that last week. We said what kind of a language shows how noun functions by changing the word endings. Just like sentence number 2 says here. We said that makes what kind of a language? It's one of your grammatical terms from last week. Heck, you can look back at your notes. Nobody says you have to have that memorized. Look back at your notes. What kind of a language shows this kind of information by changing word endings? Why, yes, Miss Kendall. An inflected language. Very, very nice. What about number 3? What sorts of nouns we have in number 3, Miss Nicole?
Word, case, nouns, function, and context.
Word, case, nouns, function, and context. Everybody stay on number 3 for just a moment. I gotta ask. In that sentence, if the word nouns, N-O-U-N apostrophe S, if that word were to be translated into Latin, which case do you think it would be in? N-O-U-N apostrophe S. Think about what an apostrophe shows in English. Ashton, what case?
It would probably be in the plural.
I'm going to say mini-may or no to the plural. Courtney?
It would be a possessive.
Possessive or possession, which is what case in Latin, Raven? Genitive. It would be in the genitive case because the genitive shows possession and apostrophe S shows possession. What about sentence number 4? Where are the nouns in sentence number 4? Where are the nouns? Okay, Raven again.
Subject, Latin, sentence, nominative, case.
I'm good with subject, sentence, and case. This time I'm going to say Latin is not a noun. Latin was a noun in number 2. Latin is not a noun in number 4. Because if you look at it, how is the word Latin functioning in number 4? It's not functioning as a noun, Miss Sasha. It's functioning as an adjective, isn't it? What kind of sentence? A Latin sentence. So in number 4, the word Latin is functioning as an adjective, not as a noun. But there is another noun in 4. We've got subject, we've got sentence, and we've got case. But there's one more, Courtney. Example. Example is a noun. Very nice. And finally, this is right out of our definition from last Thursday or Friday, whenever we did it. But where are the nouns in sentence number 5, if you will, please? So other than Courtney or Raven. All right, what do you say, Ashton?
Nouns,
That's one of them. And I've got 4 more.
endings,
Endings, that's 2 of them.
and declension.
Good, there's 3 of them. I got 2 more to go. I've got nouns, endings, and declension. That's awesome. What do you say, Zoe?
Group and set.
Group and set. And that's just what we said last week, that a group of endings that, or a group of nouns that's formed or cases the same way, we call that a declension. All right, so just a little bit of review on some basic English vocabulary. Flip over to exercise E. It's on the facing page. None of this English stuff. At some point, the Romans conquered the British. We got to move to Latin, language of the conquerors. All right? So here we go. Hey, guess what? Nobody has prepared this. You got this for the first time right here, right now. We're just seeing what we can figure out together. So number 1, Corsica est insula. What do you think that could mean? What do you think that could mean, Miss Allison?
Corsica is an island.
Bingo. Corsica is an island. Corsica is an island. All right. What about number 2? Corsica et Melita Sunt insulae. What do you think there, Miss Carly? Woo! Corsica and Melita, or Melita has a modern name, it's called Malta, so you can go either way. Corsica and Melita, or Corsica and Malta, are islands. Hey, this is exciting stuff. What about number 3? Nova Scotia Peninsula Est. Nova Scotia Peninsula Est. What do you say there, Ms. Autumn?
Nova Scotia is a peninsula.
There you go. Nova Scotia, or Nova Scotia, we sometimes say in English. Nova Scotia is a peninsula. Golly, nothing like learning some geography in a foreign language. All right. How about Florida at Baja California Peninsulae sunt? What do you think, Ashton?
Florida and
Yep.
yes, and California are peninsulas.
This is true. Florida and California are peninsulas. And specifically, though, they're referring to what part of California? Some of you may have been there, yes.
California Bay.
Okay, good thinking there. Yep.
Baja, California.
Baja California. We spell it B-A-J-A. Baja California. That little part of California that sticks off like a little strip on the side, that is a peninsula. Florida and Baja California. Now, this is interesting. Insula Japonia at Peninsula Korea in Asia sunt. I wonder what and where these are. Let's see. What do you think?
So the island of Yaponia and the peninsula of Korea are in Asia.
You got it right. The island Japonia. Anybody want to guess what we call that today? Yeah.
That's Japan.
It is Japan. Very nice. You could say the island Japan, or you could say the island Japonia. You could keep it in the Latin if you like. But the island Japan and the peninsula Korea are in Asia. And once again, your book has this interesting way of doing transitions. You got all these sentences about islands and peninsulas. And then all of a sudden, you got this interesting sentence number 6. Sunt Silvae in Germania, which is really interesting news. And again, you should probably go and share this with your parents, because your parents may not know this. And this is their tax money hard at work. Sunt Silvae in Germania. What do you think, Zoe?
There are forests in Germany.
No kidding. There are forests in Germany. I absolutely promise you, it is my promise to you that we will get more interesting sentences than there are forests in Germany. I promise you. We'll get sentences about gods and goddesses. We're going to get sentences about heroes and heroines. Nothing direct. We're going to get sentences about action, adventure, great stuff. But for right now, there are forests in Germany. Or you could say forests are in Germany. Or you could say in Germany there are forests. Question. What are you starting to notice about translation into English? You notice some flexibility? Yeah. Well, first off, very basic sentences. And you can write the sentences in different ways and still be right. You can say, there are forests in Germany. That's the same thing as forests are in Germany. That's the same thing as in Germany there are forests. You can arrange the words however you like. That's part of your interpretation. Now, if you come up with something like a moose once bit my sister, that's just wrong. Because none of those words mean that. All right, that's wrong. But as long as you got the right words, the order is a little bit up to you. What about number 7? In Scandinavia, tundra est. Wow. You don't get sentences like this in other foreign languages. What do you say, Angela?
In Scandinavia, there is a tundra?
There is tundra. Yes, in Scandinavia, there is tundra. Now, I'm just telling you, how many people have, a bunch of you had said this, how many people have taken a language before? How many people are currently taking another language along with your Latin? Okay. I just got to say, you guys in your other classes, you're learning some pretty useless stuff. In your other classes, you're learning useless stuff, like how to ask how to go to the bathroom, and how to order food, and how to ask where the embassy is, and all these kinds, that's useless. But to be able to say in Scandinavia there is tundra, no, that's useful, baby. That's useful. I can't tell you the number of times I've had to say in Scandinavia there is tundra. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. How about number 8? Troia, known in Africa, said in Asia est. What do you say, Rory?
Troy isn't in Africa, but it is in Asia.
Oh, Troy is not in Africa, but is in Asia. We're going to talk a lot about this place called Troy this year. Real quickly, what does anybody know about Troy? Yeah, lady.
Well, the Trojan horse came from there.
The Trojan horse came from that. In fact, we got a big old painting of the Trojan horse up here on our ceiling. If you manage to stay with us long enough to get up to AP Latin. At the end of the year, the seniors get to paint some of the tiles, some mythological or historical scene, and one group painted the Trojan horse up there a few years ago. So hang with us and we'll get to do that too. What about number, oh my gosh, number 9 is too long. I'm going to break it down. Hispania in Europa est. Do just the first part of number 9. What do you think for that one? What do you say there, Miss Lucy?
Spain is
Spain is
in Europe.
in Europe. Now you could say Hispania if you like, but a lot of people could probably spot that from our derivative Hispanic. So Hispania means Spain. Spain is in Europe. Darn tootin' it is. What about the rest of the sentence? Now we get something interesting. Nicaragua and Costa Rica in Latina America sunt. That's still long, but I bet somebody can do it. What do you say there, Jordan?
Nicaragua and Costa Rica is in Latin America.
Nicaragua and Costa Rica are in Latin America. Nicaragua and Costa Rica are in Latin America. Now, understand, not talking politics, okay? Somebody going to win this election in November, whatever. If Mr. Trump wins, that will give us our second vice president from Indiana. Because Governor Pence is running as vice president. Does anybody know the other Indiana vice president? We've had one president who died 4 months into office, and then we've had one vice president. Does anybody know, first of all, who was our president from Indiana? What did they teach you in Indiana history? Yes.
Abraham Lincoln.
Going to say, but you know what he does? He has a connection to Indiana, that's true. Although Illinois and Kentucky also claim it. We got a guy all to ourselves, yeah. Harrison. William Henry Harrison. Caught a cold during his inauguration, died 4 months later, so that was too bad for us. We also had a vice president. Anybody know who our vice president? Dan Quayle. Quayle. Dan Quayle. He was the vice president to the first President Bush. Dan Quayle, when he was vice president, was known for making all kinds of mistakes in public speaking. And Latin teachers around the country went absolutely ballistic when he made this comment. He traveled somewhere in South America, and he says, it's also called Latin America. He says, I wish I had taken Latin in school so I would know how to speak to these people. Now, what makes that a colossally epic fail of a statement? Yes.
They don't speak Latin.
They don't speak Latin in Latin America. You got countries like Nicaragua and Costa Rica. What are they speaking in Latin America? Spanish. But Spanish is a what kind of language we saw the other day? It's a Romance language. It's derived from Latin, but it ain't Latin. And so everybody's like, oh, you got to be kidding. Yes.
There's also Portuguese.
And there's Portuguese. Yeah, there's other stuff as well. Now, the last piece of information is very, very, very important. It comes out of this sentence right here. What do you not want to do when shaving your agua? Nick your agua.
Huh?
Few people getting it. See, when you shave, you might nick your aqua, nick your aqua. Yeah! Folks, I'm playing here all year. You might as well get used to it. Number 10, the book asks you a question. The only problem is if you answer back. It asks, Este agua in Sahara? What does the book ask you? What does the book ask you? Yes, ma'am. Miss Allison also, isn't it? Yes, very good. Is there water in Sahara? Well, okay, is there? No, because the Sahara is a big freaking what? It's a desert. Yes, there's not water there. That's why it's a desert. Is there water in Sahara? Este in Canada aqua? Mm-hmm. What do you say there, Zoe?
Is there water in Canada?
Is there water in Canada? And the answer is yes. And that's why we're going to conquer them first. Okay? Oh, that's on tape now. Wow. Okay. Well, there goes our secret plans, because that's going to go on the internet. But anyhow, we're going to take over Canada. Dan, how are we doing on that stuff? Is that stuff making sense?
Yes.
I mean, not the goofiness of the sentences, but the grammar. Okay? Get out your grammar notes then. Get out your grammar notes. We got to talk a little bit more language stuff today. We got to drill a little bit deep. Get out your grammar note and flip over to page 21 in your textbook. So 2 things out on your desk: your grammar notes and page 21 of your textbook. Mm-hmm. Page 21 of your textbook. Let's run down some of that vocabulary together as we get ready to plunge into new grammar. Page 21, here we go. Fama. Oh, that's everybody together. Fama. Fami. Feminine. Report. Familia. Familia. Feminine. Family. And again, Ashton or Zoe, if one of you guys could share with Jeremiah, that would be wonderful. Fortuna. Fortunae. Feminine. Fortune. Or luck. You can go either way, whichever one you prefer. Puella. Puellae. Feminine. Girl. Terra. Terrae. Feminine. Earth. Vita. Vitae. Feminine. Life. Wait a minute, didn't we just have that word back on page 15? Or did we have one that looked like it? What's the look-alike word on page 15? Something that looks like Vita but isn't, and is something very, very different. Cameron. I'm going to say mini-made to live. What do you say there, Zoe? The word for road or way. What's the word for road? Wea. This is Vita. You put a T in it, and you've got life. So one letter makes a huge difference. We got some adjectives. Bonus. Let's say together. Bonus. Bona. Bonum. Good. Durus. Dura. Durum. Hard. It can also mean harsh. You may want to write that in your book if it hasn't been done for you. It can also mean harsh. Magnus. Magna. Magnum. Big. Parvus. Parva. Parva. Little. What do you call words like that that mean the opposite? Well, yeah, there's a fancy, that's good. There's a fancy schmancy word. Antonyms, very good. Amant, they love. Portant, they carry. All right, so grammar notes. We've got to do 2 things today. We want to drill down a little bit more deeply onto another one of the noun cases. We'll drill a little more deeply onto accusative case. We said last week, I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, but we said last week that accusative was used for what? Either you remember it or you look back at your notes and you can find it. Raven. Direct object. Fantastic. We got to talk a little bit more about what that really means. What is the direct object of the sentence? This is true for English, it's true for Latin. Once again, we're going to help you with your English, because for a lot of people that go, I've heard that term, but I honestly don't know what it is. Anybody tell us what a direct object is? Yeah, Lucy.
Is it the target of the action?
Oh, I love it. It's the target of the action. It's the target of the action. It's the thing that receives the action. So if that's the case, how about this? The kids paint the fence. That's nice. Children doing something good for the community. The children paint the fence. The kids paint the fence. What is the direct object? If what Lucy said is correct, if direct object is the target of the action, then Courtney, what is it? The fence. There you go. So we'll go ahead and label it, identify it. Fence is the direct object. Now here's a nice simple test. This works in Latin and it works in English. You can absolutely always tell the direct object of a sentence, because the direct object answers whom or what? The kids paint what? The fence. The fence is the direct object. There you go. All right, how about this one? Oh, we'll pick on somebody here. Let's pick on Jack. Jack kicked the dog. Jack kicked what? The dog. What's the direct object of the sentence? Dog. Now, here's the deal. You gotta keep your dogs away from Jack. Jack's a dog kicker. All right. How about this one? How about we go with? How about we have Autumn? Autumn ate the bird. Okay. Where's the direct object of the sentence? Bird. Because Autumn ate what? The bird. Now we maybe something about a chicken. Chicken's a bird. Now if it's parakeet, that's a whole separate thing. All right. That's the accusative case. Folks, you're going to have lots of accusative cases. Because most sentences in English and Latin, not all, certainly, but most sentences are of this format. The kids paint the fence. We read the book. They conquered the enemy. We will buy the pizza. Most sentences are like that. And so you're going to have lots and lots and lots of accusative cases. Stay with that for a moment, and I got a nice little rule here. It's going to last for a couple of weeks. I'm never going to change it. But this one's going to work for you in a couple of weeks. It's going to be like the training wheels on your bicycle when you first learn to ride. This is going to help us for a couple of weeks. Adjectives look like the nouns they modify. Adjectives look like the nouns they modify. Okay? So, how about we take a little Latin sentence, look a little something like this. We say, puellae bonum aquam portant. Copy that Latin sentence. I'm using only vocabulary from pages 15 and 20 right now. Puellae bonum aquam portant. Now flip back and forth between pages 15 and 20, and all I want are raw definitions. I don't yet want to know if I've got one or more than one of a thing. All I want are just raw definitions. So what's the raw definition of this puellae word? It's either on page 15 or 20. Lucy.
Girl.
Okay, so maybe girl and maybe girls. We're not worried about that yet, but I know I've got some word that basically has to do with a girl. Bonum looks like it's probably coming from the word that means what, Mr. Jake? The word for good. Aquam is coming from the word that means what, Ashton?
Water.
Water. And then portant is coming from the word that means what, Hannah? They carry. Now it's pretty obvious that there's something to do with a girl or girls, not sure which yet, carrying some water. First question, is it a girl or is it girls? That's my first question. Do I have one girl or more than one girl carrying water? What do you say, Luke?
More than one.
More than one girl. Can you tell us why?
Because it ends with AE.
I noticed this AE. In fact, I labeled this. I noticed this AE. And if you look at your chart from last week, or you look at your chart from today in the do now, AE can be what case in the plural column? So maybe go back and look at a chart. What case could that be in the plural column? What do you think there? Yes, ma'am. Could be nominative plural. So we could have girls as the subject. Label. Fine. Now I've got a real question. Do I have good girls carrying water? Or do I have girls carrying good water? Because I'll tell you, either one makes sense. I could have very nice young ladies who are doing the carrying. I could have thoroughly wretched, horrible girls carrying water that itself is just very clean and pure and pool from the stream. Maybe it's the water that's good. Either one makes perfectly good sense to me in English. Which one do you think it is here? What do you say there on it?
Is it good water?
It is good water. How do you know?
Because you said they look alike and they both end in AM.
Hello, Charlie. We said they look alike. There's AM on Bo Nom. Underline it and draw a freaking arrow. Actually, it's a green arrow. Anybody? Anybody? Green arrow? Anybody? DC Comics fan? Hello. Thank you, Oliver Queen. All right. Thank you very much. Just saying. Anybody watch The Flash on the CW? I absolutely love that show. I read The Flash growing up, and now that it's on TV, it's a great show. Our son and I love to watch it. It's fantastic. Anyhow, Bonum looks like Aqua. So get the English translation. Puella means what? The girls carry what? Bonum aquam. Good water. There it is. The girls carry good water. And for right now, in a couple of weeks, that's going to work for us. The adjective will look like the noun it modifies. How are we doing with that? We okay with that? Conceptually? Good? Folks, I want to talk about the quiz format, and then I want to talk about Roman numerals. And then maybe, just maybe, I'll be done. The quiz format, I would get out a blank piece of paper if I were you. Quiz format. Okay, you want to see what's on the quiz? Huh? Wow, there you go. Yes. You want to see what's on the quiz? I should make a fair check. I want to see what's on the quiz. Ooh, front and back. Yeah. You had some chance. All right. On a quiz, on what day did you say this is? Thursday. How do you know that it's Thursday? Because it's on your course outline. The first thing, you're going to have 10 vocabulary items. Where will you get the list of those 10 vocab items? Yes, ma'am. nclatin.org. And you're going to go to which page on nclatin.org? Yes, ma'am. The Nota Bene page. So Jeremiah, the same place I was telling you to go tonight for the course outline. If you scroll way down on that page, you're going to find a link that says Latin 1 vocabulary list. Go ahead and click that as well. Just curious, does anybody already have that printed out? If you've got it, let me see it. So somebody, whoever's got it, quick for us.
I got it.
You got it? All right, boom, there it is. So here's the vocab list. He's printed out the words, the 10 words for the first quiz. He's already started filling them in, now he can study. Okay? That's what you want to do. We talked about that last week. At that point, that's on you. That's 10 points of the quiz right there. You're looking at the answer. Then, numbers 11 through 15, are a matching section. Again, you want to write this down. There's no reason not to never know what's on a test or a quiz. Okay? So make sure you write this down. Numbers 11 through 15 are matching. We'll give you the cases, and you match them with their uses. So, for example, if I give you genitive, you would match that with what use? What use? Ashton? Possession. If I gave you ablative, you would match it with what use? What use? Object of preposition. If I give you accusative, you would match it with what? Somebody else. Somebody not Ashton. Somebody not Kendall. Gordon.
Indirect.
Not indirect.
Direct.
That's it, exactly. That exactly. It's the oh dang, oh snap, I forgot it direct object. That's actually the full grammatical title, but we'll go with just direct object. Very, very nice. Matching 11 through 15. And then finally, 16 through 20. The last bit of it, 16 through 20, is another matching section. This time it's going to be those noun endings matching up with case and number. Case and number. So if I gave you the ending am, what case and number would you match that up with, Ashton?
Accusative and case back.
Accusative and singular. They get the S's for singular. What if I gave you arum, arum? Aram, Kendall, you match that up with gender plural. First question, do you see what's going to be on the quiz? Yes, ma'am. Second section is a matching, and it is the cases with their uses. Well, let's do it in 16 through 20. 16 through 20. Well, later, folks.